Hello, my friend. Come in, sit down. What would you do if the world decided exactly who you were supposed to become? Not who you wanted to be, but who they wanted you to be.
Tonight's story is about a boy who was handed that question at 6 months old in a photograph he didn't even know was being taken. A boy who grew up in a neighborhood most of Spain tried to forget existed. A boy who, by 19, had done something no teenager in the history of football had ever done before. This is the story of Lamine Yamal. Welcome to Legendary Narratives. Tell us in the comments section your thoughts about Lamine Yamal. Like the video and subscribe to support us. By 15, he was the youngest player to wear the Barcelona shirt in over 100 years. By 16, the youngest to score for the Spanish national team. By 17, a European champion, the youngest player ever to appear in a major international final. By 19, a World Cup winner standing on a stage. But none of that is where this story begins. It begins somewhere much smaller. Lamine Yamal Nasraoui Abana was born on the 13th of July 2007 in Esplugues de Llobregat, a town on the edge of Barcelona. His father, Munir Nasraoui, had come from Larache in northern Morocco, arriving in Spain as a child. His mother, Sheila Abana, had come from Bata in Equatorial Guinea. She was 16 years old when he was born. Two teenagers, far from home, trying to raise a baby with almost nothing. In the months before Lamine arrived, the rent was more than they could manage. And that is where two men enter this story, men who never played a match, never scored a goal, and never asked to be remembered. Their names were Lamine and Yamal. When the young family fell behind, these two men helped carry them through. Munir never forgot it. When his son was born, he did not name him after a footballer or a hero. He gave him both of their names, Lamine Yamal, a name that means, roughly, the trustworthy one, full of grace. A debt of kindness carried for a lifetime, written onto a birth certificate. The world would spend the next 2 decades assuming that name belonged to a superstar. Almost nobody would learn it began as a thank you. When Lamine was 3, his parents separated. He split his time between 2 places, Granola's, where his mother worked shifts that started before sunrise, and Rocafonda, a neighborhood in Mataro, where his father and grandmother lived. Rocafonda is not a postcard. It is a dense, working-class district built by immigrant families from Morocco, Senegal and beyond, a place with its own reputation in Catalonia, not always a kind one. It is also the place that raised him. He played on the local pitch with a club called La Torreta. He was good enough, fast enough, sharp enough that word reached beyond the neighborhood. A scout named Isidro Gil watched him play. Espanyol noticed him first. Then Barcelona came calling. At 6 years old, Lamine went for his trial. He forgot his boots. A coach dug out an old spare pair, too big for his feet, and sent him out anyway. It didn't matter. He was a year younger than almost everyone on the pitch that day, and it still didn't matter. Barcelona signed him. Rocafonda had produced its next name. Here is where the story turned strange, almost impossible. In 2007, the same year Lamine was born, a Barcelona newspaper and UNICEF ran a charity raffle. Lamine's family won a place in a photo shoot inside the Camp Nou dressing room. The player asked to hold the babies that day was 20 years old, still early in his own career. His name was Lionel Messi. For a few seconds, Messi held 6-month-old Lamine in a small bath, half smiling, unaware that the child in his hands would one day wear his shirt, his number, and eventually stand across from him in a World Cup final. Nobody in that room understood what the photograph meant. It was just a nice picture for a good cause. It would take almost 2 decades for the world to understand what it had actually witnessed. The 29th of April, 2023, Camp Nou. Barcelona were 4 goals up on Real Betis deep into the second half when the manager, Xavi Hernandez, turned to the bench. A 15-year-old walked to the touchline, 15 years, 9 months, 16 days old to be exact, the youngest player to appear for Barcelona's first team in over a century. He didn't look nervous. He jogged into position like he'd done it 1,000 times before. Barcelona, at that moment, was a club still grieving. Messi had left in 2021, and every young player who came through La Masia afterward was asked some version of the same question, "Are you the next one?" Lamine kept getting asked, and he kept giving the same answer. He wasn't trying to be the next Messi. He only wanted to play. After that Betis match, Xavi admitted he had told the boy to go out and simply try things on the pitch, and that he had done exactly that, without a flicker of hesitation. 4 months later, in September 2023, Spain called him up. Not the youth teams, the senior side. He was 16. His full debut came against Georgia. Spain were already 4 goals ahead when he came on. In the 74th minute, a cross rolled to him at the back post. He struck it into the top corner. 16 years and 57 days old, the youngest goalscorer in Spanish national team history, breaking a record that had belonged, until that moment, to his own Barcelona teammate Gavi. By the summer of 2024, still 16, he was starting for Spain at the European Championship in Germany on the wing against grown men from France, England and Germany. Nobody was sure what to expect. On the 9th of July 2024 in Munich, Spain met France in the semi-final. France had gone ahead early. In the 21st minute, the ball reached Lamine, roughly 25 metres from goal. 2 defenders closed him down. He cut inside onto his left foot and bent a shot toward the far post. The goalkeeper, Mignon, dived and got a hand to it. It wasn't enough. The ball dropped just inside the post. 16 years and 362 days old. The youngest goalscorer in European Championship history. Spain reached the final. 4 days after that semi-final, Lamine turned 17. The next day, he became the youngest player ever to appear in a major international football final. Spain beat England 2-1. Lamine was named Young Player of the tournament. Fame did not arrive gently. Sponsors came. Magazine covers came. He inherited the number 10 shirt at Barcelona, the same number Messi once wore. In September 2025, at the Ballon d'Or ceremony in Paris, Lamine finished as runner-up, well behind the winner, Ousmane Dembélé, whose season with Paris Saint-Germain had included a treble. It was, by nearly every account, a fair result, and Lamine took it with a shrug in public. There would be other years, and Dembélé, for what it's worth, had earned it. Then came the World Cup. On the 19th of July 2026, at the stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey, Spain faced Argentina in the World Cup final. On the other side of the pitch stood the man who had once held him as a bobby in a Camp Nou dressing room, 39 years old now, playing in what may be his final World Cup. It ended 1-0 Spain after extra time. Lamine Yamal became the first teenager in football history to win both a European Championship and a World Cup. When the final whistle blew, he didn't run to his own teammates first. He went and found Messi. 2 players born 20 years and 19 days apart, the widest age gap ever between starters in a World Cup final, stood on the same pitch and embraced. One arriving at the end of his story, the other only just beginning his.
From a kid playing on the gravel streets to absolute global superstardom. This is incredible.
Here is what stays with me about this story, my friend. Lamine Yamal broke almost every age record football had to offer, not because he was fearless in some superhuman way, but because he came from a place where hesitation cost you everything. When you grow up with very little to lose, you stop being careful with your one chance. You just take it. Maybe you're carrying your own version of Rocafonda right now. A place, a memory, a person who helped you when you had nothing. It doesn't have to be a neighborhood. It can just be the reminder that you started somewhere smaller than where you're standing now, and that's exactly what will keep you honest when the stage gets bigger.
Thank you for spending this time with me tonight. Which part of the story stayed with you most? The name built from a debt, the photograph with Leo, or the moment?
He embraced him again 20 years later, on the biggest stage in the world. Tell me in the comments. I read everyone. Until next time, take care of yourself.